start recording and we can continue and others can join as they come in. Oh, there you are, Rachel. Awesome. So Rachel, if you...
Yes, Gertrude?
Do you want to continue what you were saying and people will just come back into the room?
Sure. Yes, so I was talking about, I could pull up that email. So I've gotten some pretty good information on what is available to us at Mesa del Sol, and it is really not a lot of, I mean, it's, you know, enough chairs. I'm not quite sure about the number of tables that they have there. I guess I'm going to need to pose that question to her and eventually get out there and see the venue.
Let's organize that. Let's go together. You let me know when you're free. I'm free this week and next week. The week after, I'm off to Grenada for a week. So this week and next week, I'm free. If you can come out and we can go out there together, let's schedule a time with it's Deandra or something, right? What's her name?
Yes, with Deandra. Exactly.
Yes. Okay, can you do that?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I think that an important next step is to really review those hotel options.
Yes.
And see, you know, and really decide if you want to use them for more than just the hotel rooms.
Okay.
You know, if there's any, I'm not sure if anyone else is, but I'm a little unsure as to who is doing what and what's exactly done and finalized at this point. So it's hard for me to speak.
We're at a stage where we're trying to delegate who does what.
Okay.
So nobody's being assigned any specific duties. Nobody's put up their hand for anything. That's what I'm trying to figure out this week. So I think we need to kind of look at the whole program from day one to finish. What are the main aspects? And then people just put up their hands and say, okay, I'll run with the registration desk. You are going to be doing the venues. Can you do that, Debbie?
Well, I wanted to say something. I think what would maybe help is if you could send a list of all the different job descriptions.
Okay.
To start with, and how many people you'll need for each of those. You know, some might need a team, some might just need one person, and then maybe we can start to, you know,
build from there.
Gertrude, this is Chanel. I can meet with you this weekend and we can kind of put together like that sort of list. I'm planning another conference right now and they all have the same sort of like registration, education sessions, blah, blah, blah. We can get job descriptions and needs together.
Unfortunately, I'm away, Chanel. I'm in Phoenix this weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, sometime soon or whatever. I can make myself available.
If you can make yourself available in the evenings, one of these days, we could meet in the evening for an hour or two.
Cool. I'll talk to you offline about that then.
Okay. Because we're near each other. I'm in Nob Hill.
Oh, perfect.
Tiffany, welcome. Are you in South Africa? I think I saw Tiffany. She's disappeared. So Tiffany...
Gertrude, is there a program at the moment? Do you guys know what the day is going to look like, or are you still discussing that?
No, the program is already, the themes within the program are already set.
Yeah.
I'm going to email that out.
Oh, okay, that'd be good.
Then you can see, and then you guys need to pick where you see yourself fitting in terms of the speaking opportunities as well. You need to give us an indication where you want to speak. So that was the other thing that I'm needing help with, is we need to start slotting in our speakers in the different slots. I'm overwhelmed. I've got about 650 people who have responded saying they want to come. So we need to now look at, I think I calculated we need 180 speakers. If we're going to have speakers speaking for 15 minutes, 10, and 5, we will have 180 speakers for this event. So we now need to start narrowing them down and informing people what they have to choose, which slots they want to speak in. So I need a team just around the speakers.
I have a good question about that. I'm curious, what is the significance of the different slots, the 15, 10, 5 minutes?
Just give me a second. Tiffany, you said you can't hear us. I wonder why. I'm not sure. That a problem on your side. On my side, you're not muted. So if you can hear me, Tiffany, you need to probably come out of the chat and come back in perhaps. I'm not sure why you're not getting audio. I can see you, but I'm not sure why you're not hearing us. Debbie, you said something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I was curious as to the significance of the different time slots. Why 15, 10, 5?
I think they just wanted to give people a variety of speakers.
Okay.
They almost pre-qualified. The 15-minute spots were more experienced speakers.
Okay.
15 and 10. But I noticed that in some instances, they did slot in people who didn't have experience in the longer slot. So it's just the format that they've used, and it seemed to have worked really well in The Hague.
Okay, well, but how will we qualify those people for the slots? That's what I don't understand.
First of all, people get to choose. So remember when you responded, the forum people said, please choose which categories or which sessions you want to speak in.
Okay.
And then once you've chosen, then they allocate
Got it.
how many minutes you'll get.
Okay.
Tiffany, can you hear us? I'm really sorry. You'll probably just have to listen and chat in the chat window. I also need somebody else to help moderate these meetings. Because let's say, for instance, I don't show up for whatever reason. If we've scheduled a call, please let's not connect. I don't want me to be the only thing that will hold us back as a group. So can one of you please help me with that? Who would like to co-moderate these sessions with me?
I can help, but we might need a few people because of the time zones. We might need to have a backup too, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I need a backup for me.
Yeah,
But if
I'm quite happy to help with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm not available or if something happens, I don't want us not to meet on the days that we say we're meeting. Somebody else will initiate, create a link, put it on Facebook, email it to everybody. So
Yeah.
Maria, if you could do that with me, that would be great.
Yeah, I can help with that. I can record it and whatever, and we can work out how we're going to do it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So, logistical issues. Oh, Karen, welcome. We've got another Australian who's joining us. I haven't seen you for a while. How are you? Karen, if you can hear me, introduce yourself to everybody. I think she might have some sound issues as well. Karen, can you hear us? Okay, so that might be a problem there too. So I'm not sure what's happening with your audio, guys.
Gertrude, it's Rachel. May I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
For the Women's Economic Forum as a whole, are there guidelines that we will need to adhere to, like as far as the speakers, as an example? You know, that's a lot of speakers to get through in 2 days. So are there guidelines for other areas of the conference that are consistent to the other international programs that are taking place?
They have nothing documented. I asked for that. And basically, this is why the 2 events that I attended were so different. In The Hague, they had it down pat. They had moderators who monitored the time. The program just flowed. In London, it was just chaos. This is why I'm glad I went and saw what other people were doing so that we can do it really smart and slick and professional. Yeah, there's no guidelines at the moment.
I wonder if, would it be possible to have someone from The Hague be on one of these calls to maybe mentor us? I mean, why reinvent the wheel? If it worked there, how can we learn from them, right?
One of the organizers there, I can reach out to the lady who organized The Hague and see who was on her team, or if she would be interested. Definitely, I can reach out to her. The Hague was I was amazed that that number of speakers could go through and people got so much value.
So were there speaker schedules for one main general session, or were there any speaker sessions happening congruently in breakout spaces?
So they started off the day in the morning with an opening plenary session where everybody got together at once. And then they broke out into different sessions. So everything is happening simultaneously.
Yes. So
That's
did
how
you
they
bring,
managed to get so many different interest groups speaking on different topics?
do we know how many breakout sessions we will have at our conference?
Yes. I've got the program now. I'll email everybody.
And have we thought about how that will translate into a marketing piece? Will there be a program that will feature and introduce our speakers and outline the agenda?
Say that again.
How will the conference schedule and speaker tracks relate to any sort of marketing piece, like a program or an agenda that also features speaker bios? Will there be anything like that?
This is where we need the marketing person to come in. I think that's going to be necessary for marketing and promoting the event, because we could really leverage off the types of women who are coming to this conference, the countries they're coming from, the topics they're talking around.
Did they have anything like that at The Hague or in London?
No.
There was no handout, no physical program.
In the Hague, there was a physical program handed out, and it was just like a Word document. It didn't specify in detail what each person was speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I think the book that I was suggesting, the other conference that I attended in Rome, was so well organized. That book had the program plus all the bios of the speakers. It was a physical book that you could take away after the conference.
So where would you like to see our conference end up with something like that? Because we're about, a little over 90 days out. So I'm sure you're feeling a time crunch. I'm certainly feeling a time crunch.
Yeah.
Do we have a marketing person on board?
We don't have a marketing person on board, and actually correlating and putting that book and the program together is easy for me because I make books.
Perfect. Right.
So what the pressure I'm under is we need to get our speakers now into the different slots.
Okay.
So that I can produce that. That's easy for me.
So have you sent out, where are you right now with assigning speakers to slots? Do you have a document ready to be filled out?
No. So what the forum has been doing is people submit that they want to be speakers. So the way that I connected with all of you, I put out a call on Facebook. You said, yes, we want to be speakers. I sent all of your names, your bios to India. And then they contacted everybody and said, okay, these are the speaking slots. Which ones are you interested in? So they help and facilitate with all of that.
Oh, okay.
So right now, what I need to do is to get back to all the speakers who said yes.
Got it.
And start channeling them and then getting back who's speaking where. Then I can produce that book.
Okay, very good. Mm-hmm. So what time frame are you working on for accomplishing that? And do you need any help with it, or does that have to be completed by you personally?
I think I need help with it, and I'm hoping we could have that done at the latest by end of March.
Okay. Good.
End of March. So we know exactly who's coming, who's speaking when. That document can be used for marketing and promoting. Because a lot of these women have already got really fantastic videos online of past presentations they've done. So we could use all of that as marketing collateral. The woman that I am connecting with and doing a joint venture with regards to helping people who are coming, who want to run workshops, who want to make money as they travel, she said that she could get us on radio shows, TV shows, so we could do a whole lot of stuff using different types of media. She can get people on podcasts prior to the event, and that I think will really help market and promote the event as well.
So how do we get that in motion? What do we need to do to actually get that moving forward?
Again, once the speakers have said yes, then she can just go crazy and start scheduling people in.
And that's locally here in New Mexico?
No, she's based in the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, and she works with speakers. She works with authors all over the world.
Okay.
She just researches on your topic. She finds the right radio stations, the right TV shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's a really nice service. You pay for it, but it's incredible. I think it's going to help a lot of people who want to get paid speaking opportunities while they're here as well.
So what are your thoughts on getting a marketing person on board ASAP? Do we have anybody waiting in the wings that you're waiting to hire?
We had Joe. Joe is based in New York. I'm not sure why she's not on the call today, but she's been on the previous 2 calls. And she had put up her hand in terms of marketing and promoting. She has a company in New York that does PR for authors, for speakers, for companies. So I need to double back to her and see where she's at. And if she's dropped off, then we definitely need to get somebody this week. Because time is of the essence. We've got exactly 90 days now.
So will that be a paid position or will that be a council member position?
It could be Joe was on the council. Preferably council member position. We have no budget, by the way. So whatever we do, unless we get a sponsor to pay for that position, we have no money. And one of the things that I have asked everybody on my committee is please bring in a sponsor at a minimum of $1,500 each. So there's 30 of us on the list. If we can each do that, we will have some money to play with. But right now, we have no money.
So at some point in this call, let's talk about the sponsor tiers that you've created and where we are with that so we can put those steps into action of finding those sponsors.
Yeah, so the sponsors can be in cash or in kind. Cash would be good because that gives us flexibility, but
honey,
as well. Say that again.
I said, we need some money, honey.
We need some money.
Sponsors. That's the key word. Sponsorships.
So the tiers are, the minimum is $1,500. The second one is $3,000 and the third is $5,000. And we will have to think what we give them at each of those levels. I had been organizing another conference in Sweden. We had much higher expectations in terms of our sponsors. We had I think it was a 25, 20 and 10 or something like that. But I think for New Mexico, we'd be pushing it. We would rather get 30 people giving us $1,500 each. I think we would be able to achieve that goal. So if anybody has any other ideas around sponsorship and how to secure sponsors, please pitch in. There was one lady who I'd hoped would be on the call. Her name is Nicole Tobiasen, and she is from Action Coach. Anybody who knows about Action Coaching, she had said that she could come in a big way to help us with sponsorship. I'm not sure why she didn't make the call, but I'll try and connect with her later today. She's based here in Albuquerque, and she knows a lot of businesses.
I think I know what I would need is a sponsorship letter, you know?
Yeah,
This is Ilka. I was going to ask that as well, and I didn't know if we needed to create one. I've never done one, but I'm willing to.
Anybody has done that before, please.
I haven't done it, Gertrude, but I can take a stab at it and send it to you all, and then you guys can edit it.
Okay, that'll be
Would
awesome.
that work?
The sooner we can get that, Ilka, the better.
Okay, I will work on that and get that out to the group.
Okay.
With that sponsorship letter, Gertrude, we should really determine as soon as possible what benefits the sponsor will receive. And I know that could come with making some decisions quickly on any marketing pieces that we do. I think that radio time, at least one plug or a certain number of plugs on radio would be something to consider, or, any other publication that we're doing. And then, a back page sponsor, a front page sponsor, a certain size, ad in any sort of publication or program that we are doing. So if we are doing a program,
Yes.
I think determined quickly. And then talking about, a quarter of a page ad where they send you, the logo and any verbiage for their company. Maybe even like the platinum sponsor could have a banner somewhere to the right of the general session stage. And maybe some sort of, if you're going to do any sort of a trade show type exhibit, if there's going to be a row of tables for some of our sponsors to set up
Yes.
and spend the day with us, and during breakout sessions and breaks, people can walk around and meet our sponsors as vendors, almost as exhibitors.
Okay. I saw that in The Hague. They had a few tables. Some of the sponsors were there. That's a really good idea. In the reception area, there was a space. And from what I recall from the building, there is a section where we can have something like that. What else? Oh, the other thing that I didn't discuss was the floating exhibition. So part of the beneficiaries, the kids who will get the scholarships, the young man that we talked with was from the Navajo Nation, and he wants to create a floating exhibition of artwork by young people from the reservations, and art in different forms, from sculpture to paintings to whatever. And he's going to be taking this floating exhibition around New Mexico, and we would be the starting point. So we definitely need to go out and check out the venue, Rachel, and just see the space and see where we could actually have that. From what I recall, when I walked into the building the last time downstairs, there is an area that could lend for something like that. But yeah, we need to go out there. If you just let me know when you're free.
Okay.
That this week or next week.
Well, I'll get with you offline this morning. I'll email you and get on your calendar for that.
Okay, that sounds good. What else do we need to discuss? What else have I left out, guys? Help me here.
Okay, food and beverage. I don't mean to keep chiming in. Can I bring up food and beverage?
Yes.
So Larry Atkinson with the convention center.
Yes.
They did connect me with the Albuquerque food truck.
Okay.
And like a lot of things here locally that we know to expect, response time is something that we need to probably plan for, because response time is so slow. I'm having trouble getting a response back on this. Is interesting, but I'm continuing on that path towards having food trucks come out to Mesa del Sol and set up, have timings. I don't know what it's going to entail, whether it's some sort of contract or an informal agreement. But if anybody has any other thoughts on food and beverage, how are we going to feed these people for these 2 days and keep them hydrated with water and things like that? That's I can't help but think about that right now too.
Are there any places, like, I don't know if you guys have BOCES or like some places that train students to cook and to make food, because we have a BOCES here, and we've used the students who have come. You still have to pay, but it's very cheap, but they come and they catered and they did a wonderful job. And it was a lot cheaper than, I don't know if there's any schools around there that do anything like that.
Santa Fe has got some culinary schools, I believe. But the thing is, we don't have a kitchen. We don't have the place where they can actually make the food.
Okay, so
that could be one restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah, Santa Fe has a lot of, am I correct, Rachel? I believe there's a lot of chefs, very famous chefs in Santa Fe, and there is a culinary school there. Unless, but it's so far away, unless they produce the food in Santa Fe and bring it in every day. Logistically, I don't think that would work. The food truck idea is going to work.
Yeah.
Because, so what I was thinking is we have $50 that people pay to come to the event, right? If we talk to the food truck vendors and said that we need you to produce meals at a minimum of $10, I don't know what that amount would be, or maybe $15 a head. And we're expecting X number of people, because we need to make sure that everybody gets something to eat, right? Either we send out the menu before the event and people say, this is what I want to eat on this day and on that day, and we give them specific orders so they know what they're bringing in. Does that make sense? I think logistically that's going to be the smart way to do it, so that we just give them a voucher or a little voucher, and they go to the food truck and they get what they had ordered.
I'll find out what sort of format the food trucks typically work on. I would think that it's fairly standard. They have something to put together to offer us, and I will put that ball in their court initially.
Okay.
Initially, my thought of that is that seems to defeat the purpose of a food truck, to pre-order and prepay. I think that we need to determine the amount of time that we will be able to allow for lunch, and prepare the vendors for that, have enough food trucks to where the lines aren't going to be long, and then they go up, they place their order, they pay right there on their own, and then the process starts just as if they're at some sort of a street fair. I'm not sure if taking pre-orders is, if a food truck is the right kind of venue for pre-orders and prepayment, just because of what the style of a food truck idea is. But if I'll ask them what kind of setup they do for an event and how many food trucks they can provide us.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to preempt people waiting for the food. If somebody has a food truck that does tacos and they know they have 100 orders, people will just go with their little voucher that they ordered tacos and they're just getting their food.
I think that we could, a solution for that might be to have them prepare and pre-make a bunch of food so they can very easily make those transactions.
That's how I was thinking.
Of an actual pre-order where they're just basically pre-making a bunch of food that they can just easily make those transactions go quickly.
Okay.
But I'll find out. Who knows what their format is. Surely this association will have something in place already to where we're not giving them the ideas of how to service us. That's kind of my question.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably got something that they do already. Okay.
I will work on that today. I'll pick that right back up today, Gertrude.
Okay. In terms of water, I think we could approach someone like Costco's, or see if Costco's could sponsor a whole lot of water for us for each day. I don't know. What do you think? Or we could buy water. I mean, we're going to have to pay for something, right?
I wonder if, so the hotel that we choose, I think that we should ask them if they'll provide us water stations.
Okay.
That way
unless we're at the venue that doesn't have like those facilities at UNM.
Say it again, Chanel.
Sorry, I'm like multiple microphones happening right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. No, just but if we're at the place at UNM that doesn't have like an affiliation with the hotel, we'll probably still need bottled water. We could talk to like Coke or Pepsi or something like that too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, these are the small logistical things that we need to make sure we've covered and touched all these bases. It'd be horrible to get people there and they're frustrated during the day and thought things through.
Because I think what you're saying now with the hotel providing water stations, wouldn't they have to take that out of their space? Is that what you're thinking?
They would bring, what we would do is ask them to bring the big water carafes and provide cups and ice. And Phil, is there a sink or anything there that's not a restroom type sink, but any sink to fill water? Or I'm not sure what.
They should be. Like I said, we need to go out there and check out the venue. I saw water fountains in certain places in the building as I was walking around, but there wasn't anybody there to actually show me the place. So let's schedule to go and have a look.
And maybe that's a great sponsorship idea. You know, having somebody sponsor our waters.
Yeah.
I wonder, does Chanel know somebody at Coke or Pepsi where she can reach out?
Chanel,
I do. I do have a contact with Pepsi. It's through the University of New Mexico, actually. So it would just have to be like a whole separate conversation because we're in a contract with them for UNM. But also our food service provider on campus, it might be worth having a conversation with them because they do off-site catering as well. They're just not very liberal with their donations stuff, but they might be able to at least give us a good price. So I can set up a meeting with them as well.
I think that would be useful because they're servicing UNM already.
Yes, totally. I just was wary about, I didn't want to bring it up in the context before we were talking about potentially having a budget because I know that they're probably not willing to work with us in a large capacity on like a donated product or anything like that.
Let's open up the conversation with them because their food is subsidized anyway for the students, right? Their prices are fairly good.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's open that up and look at, the two sides and see how we can attack this. So we have 5 minutes to go before this call ends. Is there anything else that we need to be thinking of? We've talked about the venue, we've talked about food, we've talked about sponsors, we've talked about the program, we've talked about the speakers.
I was just wondering, to make it quicker, if you're going to come up with a list for different tasks that people can sign up for, can it be a file that's put on the Facebook page and then people can just go and sign up for each task instead of having a big long call unless they had questions about the tasks?
That would be good.
Okay, so I'll summarize the tasks. That's a good idea.
Well, I was willing to work with you on that this one evening this week, and then we could put like a Google Doc together or something too, so it can be interactive.
That sounds good. Okay, we'll do that.
You can use that checklist I gave you, Gertrude.
Yes, Rachel supplied me with some checklists. Yeah, you're amazing. You are just amazing. Did you email that to me?
No, I printed it. I will email you the document version.
That'll be good. Something electronic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Rachel, could you copy me on that too? Would you mind?
Of course.
Okay.
Anything else, guys?
The sponsor letter. Somebody had mentioned and volunteered to put that together.
Ilka will put that together.
Ilka.
And then we can
Yes.
refine it. So
Mm-hmm.
Ilka.
And if you have any ideas or thoughts of things I should include, Rachel, feel free to send that to me as well. Ilka Chavez, I'm in the email list.
Okay, Ilka, I'll connect with you on that. I'd love to help.
Thank you.
Awesome. So how soon can we get that? Because that's going to be crucial for us to really get going in terms of securing sponsors. We need to give you guys a deadline.
Yeah, I think we should probably try to do it by Friday. It shouldn't be that complex. I'm sure there are many examples out there. I just want to see if Rachel will have any additional things. So I should have a draft by Friday.
Okay. So Friday we'll have the draft sponsorship letter, and let's just finalize it, send it to everybody, and let's start get cracking on sponsors. Awesome. What else? Yeah, so in terms of sponsors as well, one of the things that I thought we could do that would be attractive is, let's say, for instance, yeah, we'll sit down and decide on the sponsorship levels. And so let's say, for instance, if we were to say sponsorship at $2,000, $1,500 is going to go towards the scholarship fund, and $500 is going to go towards the actual event. So that if it's a company, for example, they know that what they have given is going directly to benefit a young person who's getting a scholarship through the Women's Economic Forum. Do you think that would be a good sales pitch to encourage more people to sponsor? So they're not just sponsoring our event, they're sponsoring a young person to go to school.
Right. It'd be really cool if we could get some names beforehand, or like just some examples of, like, for example, we know we have a 17-year-old girl who dreams of going to UNM studying blah, blah, blah. Like, I know that's a lot of work, but to kind of give them like a face to a name too of who they might be helping.
Okay, so I've got a lot of contacts in the Pueblos. I could easily get that together.
Yeah, even if it's kind of like a generic, for example, we know this person, and this person, it might personalize a little bit.
Yeah, no, we could easily get that together because we want this to be ongoing. We want this to be ongoing so it benefits the kids in this community to get to school. We'll have a little think about that when we meet Chanel and the Albuquerque group. Let's just put our thinking caps together, and anybody else in the group who can participate on a virtual level. Let's think this through. I really want this not just to be an event for us to meet. I want us to make a big impact in this community annually, get 100 kids to university. So we have 1 minute left. Anything else? Anybody who wants to connect with me after this call, let me know. I have a couple of meetings, but I'm free most of this morning and tomorrow or tonight.
Gertrude, I will call you later tonight because I'm off to meetings all day.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you for everything.
Thanks for participating, Ilka.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Anybody else wants to connect after this? Rachel, what time do you want us to connect?
I'll connect with you right after if you want.
And Debbie?
Yeah, this afternoon, because I've got a client in a little bit.
Okay, so this afternoon. And Darlene?
Okay, I'm available. Did you say tomorrow?
Even tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow would be good.
Okay, send me a message. Tell me what time, and I'll just check my calendar.
Okay.
And so, Maria, same with you. So what time do you have there now?
I think it's just after 11, might be nearly 11:30 here, so at night. So it'll probably be better for me tomorrow sometime, maybe in 12 hours time or something, that sort of thing. What time would it be there?
Well, at what time?
Is that too late? Like in 12 hours time, which would be about,